You pay on time. You keep trying to be careful. You don't do the reckless stuff people warn you about. And yet your credit score barely moves. Meanwhile, someone else changes almost nothing and jumps 40 points in a month. That's the part nobody explains. Because credit scores do not rise just because you're being responsible. They rise when the system sees the right signals at the right time. And if you don't know what those signals are, you can spend months doing everything that sounds right while your score stays stuck. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact reasons that happens. And one of them is so common that a lot of people are unknowingly hurting their score every single month, even while paying in full. Most people think credit works like this. Be responsible, be patient, eventually your score improves. That sounds fair. It also leaves out the part that matters most. Because credit scoring is not measuring effort, it's measuring risk. That means the system does not care how hard you're trying. It cares how your report looks right now. That includes how much balance got reported, how old your accounts look, how many recent accounts you open, whether your file is thin, whether old negatives are still weighing you down. That's why credit can feel so frustrating. You improve your habits, but the score doesn't seem to notice. And when that happens, most people make one of two mistakes. They either give up, or they start taking random action that makes things worse. Applying for extra cards, closing the wrong account, obsessing over tiny score changes, paying for garbage credit repair. The problem usually isn't lack of effort, it's that the person doesn't know which part of the file is actually holding them back. So let's fix that. Let's talk about Maya. Maya is 31, works full-time, and got serious about fixing her finances last year. She did what everyone says to do. She paid on time, stopped overspending, paid down her cards. Checked her score constantly. At first she felt proud, finally in control. Then came the frustrating part. Her score barely moved. A few points up, then flat, then down, then flat again. And now she felt worse than before. Because this time she was trying. That's where credit starts messing with people mentally. Because when results don't match effort, people start blaming themselves. Maya thought, maybe I waited too long. Maybe I already ruined it. Maybe this is just how it is now. But when she finally looked deeper, she found four things. One card was reporting way too high every month. Her file was thinner than she realized. An old late payment was still dragging her down. The new account she opened to help had lowered her average age. That changed everything, because now the problem had a shape. It wasn't random anymore. It was structural. And once you can see the bottleneck, you can stop guessing. That's what most people need. Not more motivation, more clarity. This is where most viewers get trapped. They hear payment history matters, which is true. Then they silently turn that into, if I pay on time, my score should steadily rise. That part is false. Paying on time prevents new damage. That's huge. But preventing damage and creating momentum are not the same thing. If your house stops leaking, great. That does not repair the mold already in the walls. It just stops the problem from getting worse. That's what on-time payments do. They stabilize the file. They do not magically overpower high utilization, recent accounts, old negatives, short history, weak file depth. This matters because a lot of people are waiting for one good habit to solve 5 different problems. It won't. So the first mindset shift is this. On-time payments are the price of entry, not the full game plan. And once the viewer understands that, they stop saying, why isn't paying on time enough? And start asking, what else is still making my file look risky? That question moves the whole video forward. This is the section that needs to hit hard because it creates the first real "I didn't know that" moment. Let's say you have a $1,000 credit limit. You spend $650 during the month. Then you pay it off before the due date. You think you did everything right. And from a budgeting standpoint, you did. But if your statement closes before that payment hits, the bureaus may still see 65% utilization. That means your score reacts to a high reported balance, even though you paid in full. That's the kind of thing that makes people feel like credit is a scam. But it's not random, it's timing. And timing is a huge part of the game. This is where you hit the viewer with a clear line. Your score does not only care whether you paid, it also cares what got reported before you paid. That line is sticky. That's the kind of sentence viewers remember. This is also where Maya's story comes back. She had one low limit card she used for everyday expenses. Completely normal behavior. But because the balance kept reporting high, her profile looked more stressed than it really was. That one detail held her back for months. So if viewers remember nothing else, they should remember this. Know your statement closing date, not just your due date. Because due date discipline helps your wallet. Statement date discipline helps your score. That's a strong retention line too. This section is good, but in the old version it was too flat. Now it needs sharper contrast. A person with one small card, short history, and no missed payments may think, "I've stayed out of trouble, so I should look good." But to a lender, that file may still look thin, not dangerous, just unproven. That difference matters. A weak file can mean too few accounts, too little age, too little variety, not enough evidence. This is why viewers need this line. No bad history is not the same as strong history. That's the core insight. And now bring Maya back again. She thought her clean behavior should have been enough, but her file had very little depth. So even though her habits improved, the report still didn't look robust. This is where you can also briefly mention authorized user strategy as an example of how some people strengthen file depth faster. Not as a magical hack, as a structural improvement. The point is to keep the viewer from taking it personally. A weak file is not a character flaw, it's a data problem. And data problems need data solutions. Here's where you bring in a pattern interrupt. A lot of viewers assume more accounts equals better credit. Not wrong long term, very wrong short term in many cases. Every new account can lower average account age, add a hard inquiry, make the file look more active and riskier. So the better question is not, does opening a card help build credit? The better question is, help when? That one word changes everything. Help this month? Help next year? Help before a mortgage? Help after utilization is fixed? Context matters. That's where people get cooked by generic advice. This is also a perfect place for a sharp mini example. A person opens 2 new cards to build credit faster, then applies for a car loan 6 weeks later. Now they've got fresh inquiries, new accounts, lower average age, and worse timing. Same action. Terrible sequence. This section works best if you position it as the right move at the wrong time is still the wrong move. That's a killer line. This part needs emotion, because this is where the viewer feels seen. A lot of people have genuinely changed. They're not the same person they were 2 years ago. They don't miss payments now. They don't spend like that now. They clean things up, but the score still carries the past. And that feels deeply unfair. So say it directly. Credit reports are historical. They do not update emotionally just because you changed. That line works. It's honest. It hurts a little, and it explains the frustration. Then shift the viewer out of shame. The score may still be reacting to old negatives. That does not mean your current effort is useless. It means your current effort is rebuilding trust, while old damage slowly loses power. That framing is mature and calming, not fake hope, real framing. This part should feel obvious once explained. That's what makes it good. A person with a $500 limit can look high utilization just by buying groceries and gas. A person with a $5,000 limit can spend the same amount and barely move the needle. Same behavior, different signal. That's what viewers need drilled into their heads. Credit scoring reacts to ratios, not just dollars. That one sentence does a lot of work. This is also where you can make the script more visual. Split screen, same $300 spend, one person at 60%, one person at 6%. That's a faceless video gold moment. It's simple, it's visual, it lands immediately. This is the section that upgrades the whole script from tips video to strategy video. Most people are not stuck because they lack effort. They're stuck because they don't know what's actually dragging the score down. So they do random stuff. Open an account, close an account, pay something early. Watch score apps daily. Try some trick they heard online. That's movement, not strategy. Strategy starts when you ask, what is the main bottleneck on my file right now? That might be utilization, thin file, recent inquiries, old negatives, account age, low limits. Once that's clear, decisions get easier. Without that, everything feels random. This is the section where you flip the viewer's mindset fully. Stop trying to do more. Start trying to identify the drag. That's the real upgrade. Here's the part most people never hear. Your score is not reacting to how responsible you feel. It's reacting to how your file looks at specific moments in time. That is the entire game. And once you understand that, you stop taking score movement personally. You stop asking, why is the system punishing me? And start asking, what is it seeing that I'm not seeing? That question makes people smarter immediately. Now give them the clean action plan. 1. Pull your actual credit reports. Not just a score app. The report tells you the why. 2. Identify the biggest bottleneck. Don't fix 10 things at once. Find the main drag first. 3. Learn your statement closing dates. This is one of the easiest wins and almost nobody tracks it. 4. Check both total utilization and per card utilization. One ugly card can still hurt even if overall usage looks okay. 5. Protect your oldest useful accounts. Don't accidentally cut age off your file. 6. Stop random applications. Every new account should have a reason and a timeline. 7. Review credit limit increase options. Especially if small limits are making normal spending look risky. 8. Separate your score from your identity. A stuck score is data, not destiny. 9. Be patient only after diagnosis. Waiting without knowing. The bottleneck is not strategy. It's just waiting. If your credit score isn't going up, the answer usually isn't try harder. It's read the file better. That's the shift. Because most people don't need more guilt. They need better interpretation. Once you understand what the model reacts to, your next move becomes clearer. And clear moves beat emotional moves every time. A better score isn't really about the number. It's about what the number unlocks. Cheaper rates, better approvals, less financial friction, more breathing room, more options. That's what people actually want, not a score. Control. So if your score has felt stuck, don't assume you're broken. Don't assume the system is random. And don't assume more effort automatically means more progress. Sometimes the issue is one hidden bottleneck that keeps canceling out everything else you're doing right. Find that bottleneck and the whole game changes. If this helped, like the video. Subscribe for more no BS breakdowns on credit, money, and financial systems. And send this to the one person who keeps saying, I pay on time, so why is my score still not moving? Because that confusion costs real money.